Your leg exercises may not have stopped working. They may have finished teaching your body the exact lesson you keep repeating. Imagine doing 6 chair rises from the same dining chair, using the same hand pressure, at the same speed, twice a week. At first, repetition 6 is difficult. 3 weeks later, all 6 feel smoother. That is progress. But the low sofa is still difficult. The stairs still demand the same pull from the handrail. And carrying groceries from the car still makes your legs feel unreliable. The exercise score improved. Daily life did not. That contradiction is the clue. Strength training after 60 runs on 3 different clocks. The skill clock measures how efficiently you perform the movement. The challenge clock measures whether the muscles are still receiving a reason to adapt. And the recovery clock measures whether your body is ready to repeat the challenge. Most plateaus happen when those clocks stop moving together. The movement may feel easier because the skill clock advanced. The muscles may receive almost the same demand because the challenge clock stayed still. And a tired or painful week may slow the recovery clock even when motivation remains high. That is why "just do more" is such an unreliable answer. More of the wrong challenge creates more fatigue. More of the same easy challenge creates more practice. The goal is not more for its own sake. The goal is the smallest change that produces a clearer training signal. Today, I will give you a 4-week plan that brings those clocks back into alignment. Week 1 creates an honest baseline. Week 2 earns more repetitions. Week 3 changes one difficulty dial. Week 4 tests whether the improvement escaped the exercise and entered daily life. And stay for week 4, because one common mistake can make your numbers look better, while the weak link receives almost no additional work. This is general education, not a diagnosis or an individualized rehabilitation plan. Use stable equipment, supportive footwear, and your normal walking aid whenever needed. Do not train alone after a recent fall, with new weakness or dizziness, or when you are unsure an exercise is safe. Stop for sharp or unusual pain, chest pain, faintness, dizziness, or unusual breathing difficulty. Recent surgery, repeated falls, unstable medical symptoms, or significant joint or neurological problems may require individualized guidance. Now return to the 3 clocks. The skill clock often moves first. Your feet find a better position. You lean forward at the right moment. You stop wasting energy. The movement becomes smoother. That improvement is real. But better skill does not always mean that your muscles can now produce much more force. It may simply mean you became better at solving that exact version of the task. The challenge clock moves when the demand increases. You may add repetitions, use slightly more resistance, increase the movement range, reduce assistance, slow the lowering phase, or add another set. Those are different progression tools. The recovery clock moves between sessions. The workout supplies the reason to adapt. Recovery gives the body time to respond. That is why repeating the same demanding leg session every day is not automatically better. Current guidance recommends muscle strengthening activity for older adults on at least 2 days each week. National Institute on Aging guidance also advises avoiding the same muscle group on consecutive days to allow recovery. The useful dose is not the dose that looks toughest on camera. It is the dose you can recover from and repeat with good control. Here is the rule for the entire plan. Do not progress because the calendar changed. Progress because the movement earned it. After every set, give the exercise one of 3 results. Green means the movement stayed controlled, the final repetitions were challenging, and you likely had about 1 or 2 clean repetitions left. Yellow means the range shortened, the body began compensating, the breathing became strained, the support increased, or discomfort appeared before the target was complete. Red means the exercise felt unsafe or produced a concerning symptom. Green may earn a small progression. Yellow usually needs the same level, an easier version, or more recovery. Red means stop that exercise and address the reason before repeating it. You do not need to train to complete muscular failure for this plan. The question is not, could I force out another repetition somehow? The question is, could I perform one or two more with the same range, breathing, and control? If 5 more would be easy, the challenge may be low. If technique has already collapsed, the challenge is too high. If 1 or 2 more seem possible but would require concentration, you are near a useful starting zone. Now choose 4 exercises connected to the daily tasks you care about. You might choose a supported sit-to-stand, heel raises, side steps, and a low step tap. Someone else may choose toe raises, knee extensions, hip hinges, and supported marching. The exercises are not trophies. Choose movements that train the links you actually need. Also choose exercises you can repeat under nearly the same conditions. A different chair every session, a different step height, or an unknown amount of hand support makes progress difficult to interpret. Variety can come later. Measurement comes first. Week 1 is the honest week. Its purpose is not to impress you. Its purpose is to create a baseline you can repeat. For each exercise, record 5 things: the setup, the assistance, the range, the repetitions, and the quality of the final 2. Let us follow one chair rise example through the entire month. In week 1, the setup is a firm dining chair placed against a wall. The assistance is both hands pressing lightly on the armrests. The range is sitting fully, standing tall, then returning to the seat with control. The result is 6 repetitions. The final 2 feel challenging, but the feet stay planted, breathing remains steady, and the body does not drop onto the chair. That is a green baseline. Notice how much information is missing from the phrase, "I did 6 chair rises." 6 from a high chair is not the same as 6 from a low chair. 6 using both arms is not the same as 6 with the hands hovering. 6 fast repetitions ending in a collapse are not the same as 6 controlled repetitions. A number without its setup can lie. The same rule applies to every movement. For heel raises, record how much counter support you use and whether the heels lower slowly. For side steps, record the number of steps, their size, and whether the trailing foot drags. For step taps, record the step height and whether both feet clear the edge. Perform 1 controlled set of each chosen exercise on 2 non-consecutive days. 8 to 12 repetitions is a common general target for strength exercise, but it is not an entrance examination. Your starting point may be 4 chair rises, 6 step taps per side, or 8 heel raises. 1 set can be useful for a beginner. Additional sets may provide more benefit when appropriate, but adding volume before you can describe the movement creates noise. Record the result immediately after the set. Do not wait until evening and rely on memory. A simple note might read, "Dining chair, light pressure through both hands, 6 full repetitions. Final 2 difficult but controlled. No sharp pain." That note gives next week something honest to compare. Week 1 has one job. Make the signal measurable. Here is the first rehook. Progression does not begin when you buy heavier weights. It begins when the task becomes repeatable enough that you can tell what changed. At the end of week 1, ask, can I recreate the same chair, support, range, tempo, and counting method next week? When the answer is yes, week 2 becomes useful. Week 2 is called earn the repetitions. Keep the setup the same. Do not lower the chair. Do not remove the hands. Do not add a weight. Do not change the speed dramatically. Repeat the recognizable task, then use the final 2 repetition test. Our example begins week 2 with the same chair and the same light hand support. The first 6 chair rises remain controlled. The person believes 2 additional clean repetitions are available, so the set continues to 7, then 8. At 8, the movement remains safe, but another 2 would probably reduce control. The set stops. Now imagine a different result. Repetition 7 requires a hard pull through the arms, and the body drops during the descent. That is not a successful increase to 7. It is useful yellow feedback. The next session returns to 6 or uses more recovery before trying again. The progression was not 6 to 12. It was 6 to 8. Small enough to measure, large enough to change the demand. Use that approach independently for every exercise. 8 heel raises became easy. Try 9 or 10. 6 step taps per side remained accurate. Try 7. 4 side steps each way became smooth. Try 5. But do not progress all 4 exercises simply because one exercise improved. Your calves may be ready for more, while the chair rise is not. Progress the exercise, not your ego. There is also a ceiling to repetition progression. Adding repetitions can build useful endurance. But if a strength exercise becomes a long, easy set, adding more and more repetitions may no longer be the clearest way to increase strength demand. Once you reach the top of your chosen range with good control, week 3 asks a different question. What is the smallest change that makes these repetitions meaningfully harder? Week 3 is called Change 1 Dial. You have several dials: resistance, range, assistance, tempo, setup, and number of sets. Every dial changes the task differently. Our chair rise example reached 8 controlled repetitions, with light pressure through both hands. The daily goal is standing from ordinary chairs with less assistance. So the week 3 dial is hand pressure. The chair stays the same. The range stays the same. The target returns to 6 repetitions. But now, the hands touch the armrests without pushing during the first few repetitions. If assistance becomes necessary near the end, the hands may help enough to preserve control. That is one progression. A different viewer struggling with low seats might keep the hand pressure and use a slightly lower secure chair. Someone already standing easily might hold a light object to increase resistance. Those are 3 different questions. Do not ask all 3 at once. For heel raises, the dial might be a 3-count lowering phase. Do not simultaneously remove the counter, move to one leg, close the eyes, and add repetitions. That turns one clear challenge into 4 overlapping problems. For side steps, the dial might be slightly larger steps while the toes and knees remain controlled, or it might be less hand pressure. For step-ups, it might be a slower descent, 1 extra repetition, a modestly higher step, or less pulling through the rail. Choose one. The body needs a clear question. A conservative week 3 plan progresses only 1 or 2 exercises that were consistently green. The others remain at the week 2 level. This matters psychologically as well as physically. When every exercise becomes harder on the same day, the entire workout can suddenly feel unfamiliar. When one dial changes, you can focus on the new demand, while the rest of the routine remains stable. That makes it easier to notice whether the progression is helping or merely creating compensation. Now repeat the final 2 repetition test. The new version should feel harder, but the important features should remain visible. No uncontrolled dropping. No sudden twisting. No sharp pain. No desperate breath holding. No extra arm pull unless the arm support is part of the chosen safe version. When the new task immediately becomes yellow, return to the previous level or make the change smaller. That is not going backward. It is locating the step your body can actually use. Progression should feel like turning a dial, not falling through a trap door. Now comes the hidden mistake promised at the beginning. An exercise can become easier for the wrong reason. Imagine that leaving the chair is the weak point. Instead of increasing leg demand, you begin rocking farther and using more momentum. The repetition count rises. The weak point may receive little extra work. Or imagine a step up. The leg on the step should lift much of the body, but you begin pushing harder from the foot on the floor and pulling more through the rail. You reach the top. The target leg may not have gained much capacity. Or imagine heel raises. You bounce through the knees and move faster. The number rises because the ankle controls less of the movement. The exercise score improves. The weak link hides. This is why week 4 does not ask only for a bigger number. Week 4 is called Prove the Transfer. First, repeat the original week 1 task. Our chair rise example returns to the same dining chair and the original light pressure through both hands. The target is 6 repetitions, not a maximum test. Now compare quality. Do the first 6 require less effort? Is the forward shift smoother? Is the descent quieter? Is less hand pressure used without consciously forcing it? Do you finish with more capacity left? Those changes suggest the original task has become easier. Next, perform the week 3 version with reduced hand pressure. Then observe one related daily life task. For the chair rise, it may be standing from the usual dining chair during a normal part of the day. For heel raises, it may be controlling the ankle while reaching toward a shelf. For side steps, it may be moving along the kitchen counter without dragging the trailing foot. For step-ups, it may be using less pull from the rail on the bottom stair. That is the transfer test. Transfer may be subtle. You may still use the armrest, but with less pressure. The stair may still require the rail, but the pull through the arm is smaller. The chair rise may not be faster, but the descent is quieter and more controlled. Those changes are not dramatic thumbnail transformations. They are early signs that capacity may be moving in the right direction. 4 weeks is not a promised transformation. It is a calibration cycle. It helps answer 3 questions. Is the exercise appropriate? Is the challenge increasing in a controlled way? And is the gain beginning to appear in the task that matters? Meaningful strength and functional changes often require continued training beyond 4 weeks, and the speed and size of improvement differ between people. If the exercise score improves but the daily task does not, investigate 3 possibilities. First, did the exercise train the same limitation that appears in daily life? Second, did the target muscles receive more demand, or did compensation make the task easier? Third, was the challenge repeated consistently enough to create a clear signal? An exercise appears to stop working when it stops asking a new question, or when the new question misses the weak link. That is the title resolved. Specific practice makes you better at a specific task. That is valuable. But daily life includes different chair heights, objects in the hands, unfamiliar steps, changing speeds, and moments when balance must react. Once the basic movement is controlled, purposeful variation can help capacity transfer. Not random variation every session. Variation connected to the goal. Here is the full calendar. Choose 2 non-consecutive strength days, such as Monday and Thursday. During week 1, perform 1 controlled set of 4 exercises and establish the baseline. During week 2, keep the setup stable and add 1 or 2 repetitions only to green exercises. During week 3, change one dial for 1 or 2 exercises while leaving the others stable. During week 4, repeat the original baseline, compare quality, perform the progressed version, and observe one connected daily life task. Walking and other appropriate activity can continue between strength sessions. Walking does not cancel strength training, and strength training does not replace walking. They provide different challenges. Older adults are encouraged to combine aerobic, strengthening, and balance activity rather than relying on only one type. But do not quietly turn every day into another hard leg session. Recovery is not the absence of training. Recovery is part of training. Missed a workout? Do not double the next one. Return to the schedule. Had an unusually active day in the garden, traveled, slept poorly, or recovered from an illness. Treat that information as part of the recovery clock. The written plan should guide you, not trap you. Soreness lasts longer than expected, or normal walking feels worse? Reduce the next session and identify what changed. One exercise stays yellow for 4 weeks? Use an easier version. Choose another movement training the same function, or seek individualized guidance. Progressive unexplained weakness, repeated falls, persistent numbness, or a major new side-to-side difference deserves medical evaluation rather than a harder workout. Seek urgent help for sudden one-sided weakness or numbness, facial drooping, trouble speaking, sudden confusion, sudden difficulty walking, severe chest pain, fainting, major breathing difficulty, or a sudden inability to move part of the body. Exercise should support care. It should never delay it. Now look at the plan again. Learn the movement. Earn the repetitions. Change one dial. Prove the transfer. After week 4, the progressed version can become the next baseline. Then the cycle begins again. But a new mystery appears. Strength can begin improving before you see visible muscle or feel dramatically different. So how can you tell whether the plan is working early enough to continue? In the next video, I will show you 5 signs your legs are becoming stronger after 60 before visible muscle appears. One sign is hidden in the way you sit down, not the way you stand. Another can disappear the moment you grab the handrail. And the most useful sign may show up before your repetition count changes at all. Subscribe to Root Cause Health so you do not miss that guide. Do not chase exhaustion. Create a clear signal. Give your body time to answer. Then, ask a slightly better question.